into the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Before You Bet right here on the Covers YouTube channel. Make sure you smash that subscribe button right down there. We're going head to head with the Belichick. Well, it's not a retirement press conference. It's a leaving the Patriots press conference. So hopefully we'll do a better number than those guys. We'll see. We'll be discussing that here on the program today. So, of course, no Thursday night football tonight. We have a pretty nice looking schedule in the NBA. We're going to get into that right off the top today. And then Jingles and Davis Sanchez will be with us to break down their favorite spots here for Wildcard Weekend. I will be saving all of my best bets for a Wildcard Weekend for tomorrow's big Friday show. So for the first time, we're making history here on Before You Bet. We're leading with NBA for the first time ever. So let's bring in our guy, prop betting king, assist betting king. There he is, Jon Metler. John, how you making out?
Good. Last night was okay in the betting space. Got lucky with the Deontay Murray prop. He always comes through, so that was good.
I went 1-1 last night in the NBA, so we'll hope to go 2-0. I got 2, you got 3, and we have a game this afternoon in Paris, France. Je peux parler français, merci beaucoup. A lot of people don't realize that Before You Bet is a bilingual sports betting program. One of a kind out there, so if you know any French speakers, tell them to tune in. Je peux parler français. Okay, Paris, France here. John, we each have a bet for this game. You got a prop. I have a side. Get us started here. Your favorite prop for the game in Paris, France this afternoon.
I was going to say, I think my teachers in high school would disagree that I could be on a bilingual show. Speaking of Paris, France, you Victor Wembanyama with a little triple-double last night. But just so I'm going Mikal Bridges over 3.5 assists for this game. Game tips at 2 p.m. Eastern, so 2 hours from now. So if you're going to bet this, make sure you get in pretty soon here. Bridges played the Cavaliers back on opening night of the season. Couple of things. So I went back and watched that film because I wanted to see, with Bridges is funny. So, often I highlight like there's been a move in the total, something, maybe it's too high, too low. Bridges is like always 3.5. I think he's been 3.5 his entire since he's been with the Nets. But once he gets to like that plus 120 range, you kind of become interested in betting it over on Bridges. So I went back to see like what was happening here with Bridges. In that first game against the Cavaliers, he was running a lot of pick and roll. He was running pick and roll with Nick Claxton. They were doing double drag screens. The Cavaliers were coming up because, Bridges is a good shooter, good mid-range shooter. They were pinching up higher on those pick and rolls, and it was opening up alley-oops to Nick Claxton. I think he threw an alley-oop to Ben Simmons too. Those are like really high value potential assists when you see something like that. So that's how they're going to guard Bridges. This become immediately interested in this prop. The other thing too, that game, so he had 10 potential assists. That's also like something really catches your eye because Bridges only averages 6.6 on the year. With Bridges, he was playing with Ben Simmons in that game. So Ben Simmons, big assist guy himself, doesn't necessarily help you get assists. He's not going to knock down shots. So you take Ben Simmons out, you put in another shooter. The Nets are filled, this whole roster is a bunch of 3-point shooters. So even there's like another boost to this prop. So that's kind of like the, multiple reasons why I like Bridges to go over today.
Okay, my best bet for this game, I'm going to take the Cavaliers to cover the full game spread coming in here at -3. So check them out. They are much more efficient on both ends of the court here lately. They are top 10 in effective field goal shooting percentage and opponent effective field goal shooting percentage. The Brooklyn Nets are dead last in both of those categories over the last 10 games. Absolutely brutal stuff from them. One of the worst teams in the NBA here lately. Watch for success from three-point land for the Cavs in this game. Over the last 10 games, no one averages more three-point attempts than them. Guess who's dead last in three-point defense in that span? Yes, indeed, it is the Brooklyn Nets. And I know this isn't a true road game because both teams are technically on the road here, but when you take the Nets out of Brooklyn, they've been god-awful here lately. 0-8 against the spread, a -12.3 point margin in these games. So I like the Cavs to roll here. Hopefully the early start doesn't impact them at all. So I'll take them to cover that spread. And with that, that ends the bilingual portion Before You Bet today. So John, let's go 100% English now. You have a prop that you like for Jalen Brunson. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, I'm going Jalen Brunson under 7.5 assists. So kind of like the complete opposite of what you'd want to hear when I say bet the under. Since they've acquired OG Anunoby, Brunson's potential assists have gone up from 11.1 on the season to 16.6. So you're like, why am I betting the under? Well, his total is also going up. It's going up with these potential assists. It's going up with just had a game against the Timberwolves where he dropped 14 dimes. So Jalen Brunson, 7.5 is not typically the number you'd see on Brunson. Last year, and even the beginning of this season, he's more 5.5. Then he got up to 6.5 because he is dropping more dimes this year. 7.5 increased juice on the over. That's quite the move. For Brunson, so the offense for the Knicks is kind of designed with Randall and Brunson create, Brunson more than Randall. And then you have shooters, DiVincenzo, Anunoby, not really other guys who can create. When you're playing like a team against Timberwolves where he dropped 14 assists, there's a lot of size, and that would disrupt Brunson because on the perimeter, he necessarily can't get his jump shot off. You need him to create against that top tier defense. The flip side of that is the Mavericks. It's the complete opposite. They don't necessarily need him to create tonight. You should see like guys like DiVincenzo and Anunoby they should be able to create a little more offense. The Mavericks are really weak at the point of attack. And for Brunson, the Mavericks are without Derek Lively. So what's even going to make him pass? So you have like this elevated total. Like what can the Mavericks do that make him even start passing the ball and dropping assists? Not much, because there's no rim protection. If he goes to the rim, he should be able to get the shot off. The point of attack, I don't see how they can contain him with it, how like elusive he is and quick with the dribble. I just don't think the Mavericks can really do anything that will make him pass. And that's why if you have the elevated total of 7.5, I like the under.
Okay, good looking game there. Another good looking one in Milwaukee. The Boston Celtics in town, hot on the heels of a big win in overtime last night against the Timberwolves. I'm going to take the hot spot here. Wasn't hot last night, but I'm going to hop back on. Celtics first half plus 2.5 points. So the first half is where Boston does their best work. 15-4 against the spread in the first half on the road this season. And they have had Milwaukee's number in this spot here. They've led at the half or have been within 1 point in 10 straight games against the Bucks. They led by 14 at the half against them in their lone matchup this season. And you dig into the first half stats here over the last 10 games, Boston is better practically everywhere. Now, a lot of people are probably watching this and saying, Joe, but it's the second game of a back-to-back. Oh my God, they went into overtime. They played 5 extra minutes last night. Do not sweat the back-to-back. These are professional athletes. This isn't me and you playing pickup basketball at the YMCA, hungover. They've been actually excellent in this spot. So they've been in a back-to-back 6 times already this season, and they've had first half leads in all 6 of those games this season. So I'll take them there. A tiny little cushion there, plus 2.5. I'll take them to get back on track there in the first half after not covering last night versus the Timberwolves. Okay, John, bring it home for us. Another nice-looking game here, Suns-Lakers. You have a prop bet for this one. What do you like?
I'm excited for this game personally. I'm going Austin Reeves under. So I'll talk to the 5.5 because that's the more current number. So this morning I did bet it at 6.5. I bet Reeves under his assist total on Tuesday. It was pretty similar to this number, 5.5 plus money. He went over. He had 7 assists, but he did it on 10 potential assists. So when I woke up this morning and I see 6.5, I don't think that's the correct number either. In terms of Reeves, why I'm going back to this is he's entered the starting lineup for the Lakers. His minutes are up because of it. I would actually, and as he's producing more in this, he's had a bunch of big assist games, so his total is up too. I think there's opportunity. I thought there was opportunity with the Raptors. I think there's opportunity against the Suns too, where you could see his minutes decrease because the Suns have all those perimeter players that they can attack him on defense and kind of exposes. He's not a good defender. I don't think that's a secret at all. So if they keep going at him, he eventually has to come. I would think if I was the coach, I would eventually sub him out. But the bonus of him starting is, if he's playing 28 minutes as a 6th man, you're kind of the primary ball handler. You're creating for everyone. If he ends up playing 28 minutes as a starting lineup, now you're in with LeBron James. You have that little bit of an elevated total, and LeBron James is the primary creator. So I'm hoping to catch like he plays 28 to 30 minutes with the starters versus 28 to 30 minutes as a 6th man. I like the idea that he is starting. So that is the main reason here. In terms of the price, I didn't put on here in the graphic. The projection I used for the 6.5 for on the 5.5, it would equal minus 111 is kind of like your break even. So if it gets shorter than minus 111, I wouldn't bet this, but a plus 110 is definitely still playable.
Okay, there you have it. A 5-pack of picks from John and I. People are still waiting for the return of the Sweet Boys. Who knows? Maybe that will be tonight. John, we will leave it at that, though. And we'll catch up with you tomorrow on the Friday edition of Before You Bet. Best of luck with those bets, and we will catch you again tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. See everyone tomorrow.
Yes, sir. The man right there. Okay, let's bring in my guy in his traditional Thursday spot, my coworker here. I covers Josh Inglis. We call him Jingles around here. The man with the sexiest smile in all of sports betting. So he's all over this Bills Steelers game. He's got 3 different picks, but I got to ask you.
I'm all over Metler's assist props. The ass man is absolutely insane. And now we got an ass man play in the afternoon, 2:00. How special is that?
The ass man? Is that what people call? I can't believe I haven't picked up on that. Okay, I'm going to be going to town on that. The ass man will be back with us tomorrow with hopefully more ass props. Okay, so I got to ask you. You got 3 bets here, but the big news out of the NFL this morning, no one was shocked by it. Maybe a day or two late, but Bill Belichick and the Patriots parting ways. What do you think's next for Belichick? He's going to stick around. He wants to get that wins record from Don Shula. Where do you think he goes next? There's like 8 openings now.
I know. I'll probably put my foot in my. Nobody wants to hear from like a non-professional. Davis is probably the best choice of this, like what he is as a coach. But from my perspective, like last year was inexcusable with what happened with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. Like to run that offense really shows me kind of where he is as a coach. There was nothing. We saw nothing progress this year. And the carousel with Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones didn't look very professional. Maybe he'll go here. Okay, we'll bring Zappi in for the final series of a game where we can win. I wouldn't be like rushing out to spend big bucks on Bill here. So, I mean, there's lots of talk about Atlanta. I know the lines have probably moved. Atlanta was plus 400. I saw lots of people I know who were following the market a little better than I was getting in on that. But, I mean, I wouldn't want him in Atlanta, honestly. That's a good young offense that has spent a lot of draft capital on first-round talent on offense, and they've just gotten out from under someone who was holding things back. When you're giving Cordero Patterson way too many touches, when you're going 3 running backs in that and not giving Bijan probably enough touches or finding enough work for the others, you want to bring in somebody new, somebody young, and someone maybe with a collegiate background who can get the most out of that offense. So I'm not big on Bill. I think maybe he should kind of just go off into the sunset and maybe get something off the field behind closed doors, because he's a super valuable asset to a team, but maybe not on the sidelines right now.
Yeah, like Ben Johnson and Russell Wilson to go to the
right.
NFL.
Yeah, like if Ben Johnson goes to Atlanta indoors again with that offense, that would be great.
Yeah, they just need an above-average quarterback in place there. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. It will be interesting. We'll ask Davis his opinion on that as well. So let's get into your picks here. So you got 3 separate picks here for the game with the biggest spread this weekend. Let's start with the total for Steelers-Bills. What do you like there?
I like a lot of things in this game. I just think there's a lot of things that aren't really being priced into the fact of what everybody wants to do. This total obviously opened 42.5. It was down to as low as 35. It's 36 today, which I still like on the under. There's some 35.5s out there. Looking at obviously the weather playing a big factor. Looking at it, it's kind of changed. We're seeing the initial terrible weather, 30-mile-an-hour winds sustained, 60-mile-an-hour gusts were moved now to Saturday night, but we're still looking at 20 to 25-mile sustained winds. And we saw a bump to the under today. That's because there's 2 centimeter per hour accumulation on the ground. It's going to be an issue. We saw last year, and which is one of my favorite angles of this whole thing, is what the Bills did last year versus Cincinnati. How Cincinnati went into Orchard Park and beat them 27-10, no passing touchdowns. The only touchdown they had was a Josh Allen rushing touchdown. They were 1.3 or 1.4 yards per play lower than they were on the regular season in that game, because it was an offense that was still pass heavy, that didn't want to really run, that ran routes that didn't really correlate with bad footing. And Isaiah McKenzie was on a pod after that game saying that, yes, that was the issue. Jamar Chase knew that they ran better routes in those situations. So we saw things change with Buffalo. They went out and drafted Dalton Kincaid. They went heavy with what they called the 11.5 personnel situations where they can have both him and Knox on the field. Going to see a lot more running, going to see a slower pace. Both of these teams, bottom 10 pace of play. So it's not just the weather affecting that. You're going to see a Pittsburgh team that ran the ball 60% of the time over the last 3 weeks, which is the highest rate in all of football. You saw Mason Rudolph throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage basically almost on every throw. Intended air yards was the lowest of every quarterback in Week 18. There's a lot to like, and it's not just this situation, which can obviously get worse because it's Buffalo and lake effect is there. Right now we're seeing the winds corner to corner, so kicking situation could be ugly. We could see teams having to punt maybe on the attacking 35, the 40, and those are absolute overkillers.
Okay, let's take a trip to Prop City. You got a few for us. Let's get into them. What do you like?
I already mentioned it, Dalton Kincaid. There's a reason they brought him in, and it's for games like this, over 3.5 receptions, minus 125. Like I said, this is the reason they brought him in here. Snow and wind will benefit shorter route pass catchers, and Kincaid's 5.96 average depth of target is the lowest on the team. Since the tight end missing Week 6, he's 9-2 to the over on this prop. Weather is over adjusting this number. We saw it open about minus 150, minus 155, but because the total dropping, we're seeing the props kind of all take a shot there too. So this is a good to the market. It's great. I mean, seeing minus 145s out there. He's a big part of this offense. He's going to be a complement to the running game. They're going to be in two tight end sets for the majority of this game, hopefully. And even if they're playing with the lead or even if they're trailing, like his chances of getting it, Allen wants to minimize those errors we constantly see downfield. And Kincaid's just an easy guy. And I love playing the receptions. Like you get one and you get one. You know what I mean? There's nothing worse than playing yards and you're like, oh, he had 8 catches, but he only had 67 yards.
Yeah, I've been there. I got burned by that plenty of time with these running back receiving props. The guy will have 5 catches, but it'll only have 3 yards somehow.
Yeah.
It drives me absolutely nuts.
Absolutely the worst one. The running back over receiving yards, and they get 5 catches or something. Exactly. That's the one that sucks the most.
I've been there. Okay, so bring it home for us here. Last prop for this game, Bills, Steelers. Josh Allen, I believe. What do you like for him?
Yeah, let's keep betting on the legs of Josh Allen. Obviously, his carry percentage during the beginning of the year was lower than it is now. They talked about it last year, that they wanted to save his body early, keep the rushes down, and then he could do it more later in the season. And as the books price this, they're pricing it to what he was before, not kind of what he's doing now. 9.67 rush attempts per game, last 6. Now, obviously, that's significant because that's OC Brady time, 4.8 carries per game in his first 10 games. That's almost 5 carries per game. Season high before Brady took over as OC was 8, and his last 6 games with him, 9 carries, 10 carries, 8, 5, 11, and a season high last week, 15. I said he wanted to limit errors. He's going to be snow. Snow means, tucking that ball and running in those situations. Now you got a Pittsburgh defense without TJ Watt. They might get pressure, but the quantity of the tackling on that edge and on that pass rush certainly goes down without him. Josh Allen doesn't have a great run game. I mean, they're still trying to bring in Ty Johnson. They're bringing in Leonard Fournette. James Cook hasn't really been that great outside of that one game. So Josh Allen is doing it all, and he knows what the naysayers are saying. He wants to do this, and it's Josh Allen winning time. It's put up or shut up for Josh Allen, and I think he's a man that's going to take advantage of that this week.
Yeah, Josh Allen. A lot of people think the Bills are poised to go on a little bit of a run here. They've come up short in the playoffs the past couple of years, but who knows? Maybe this is their year. Maybe things have broke correctly for them here this season. No Joe Burrow to have to go through. The Kansas City Chiefs obviously aren't at their best. And they have a decent path here because if they win this game, which they most likely will, then they get to host another game here next week. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with the Buffalo Bills. We'll see what happens with those bets. Hopefully you can cash in on those. So best of luck with them. Thanks again for joining, and we'll catch you again next week for the divisional round.
Perfect. Thanks, Joe. Good luck with your bets, pal. Appreciate it. Take care.
Yes, sir. Okay, moving right along here. Let's go to our guy, Davis Sanchez. If you watch football up here in Canada, you recognize this guy from TSN. Davis, how you making out?
Awesome, buddy. Question for Jingles. What happens if that running back gets 1 catch and it's 20 yards?
Well, it can go both ways, right? I usually do bet the yards.
That's a deep thought question. So ask him to circle back. Give him a week to think about it and then get back to me.
Yeah, you can get burned on that both ways for sure. He specifically, I remember that DK Metcalf game in Dallas a couple Thursday nights ago. First series of the game, I think he had a 75-yard reception off one catch. So a couple of bets to discuss here for Wildcard Weekend, but let's get into some of the topics of the day, topic of the week here. I guess all this coaching movement in the NFL, 7 or 8 openings right now. Headlined by Bill Belichick. The announcement came out today. So you have him. He's looking to stick around in the head coaching profession. Jim Harbaugh, heavily rumored to go back to the NFL. So any predictions from you, whether it be Belichick or otherwise, for who might end up where?
Yeah, I was just watching the Belichick presser. A little bit awkward, like there's some, are we going to hug Robert Kraft? Are we going to handshake? It was kind of awkward there. But the one thing that he was definitive about was, we'll see you somewhere else. So he is, they all know he's going somewhere. I think the one place that stands out to me, and some have said that they don't think Jerry Jones can coexist, Belichick and Jones, but I disagree. I think that's the top spot for Bill Belichick. If you think about and the biggest thing is what, where they're at in their careers. I mean, I think Jerry Jones, they can put their egos to the side, especially Jerry. He's getting up there. He'll be 81, I think. And at this point, I think he's willing to do whatever he can to win. And if he thinks that bringing Belichick in can get him that, then and you don't want to move. If you heard about Atlanta, young teams, I don't think you want to bring Belichick in there for a young team. I don't think that helps you build a young team because he's not going to be around that long. But I think the Cowboys are a fit. And if you go back, there was a presser. He wants to pull it up, but there was a presser earlier this year, and then again there was one I think 2 years ago where he's just gushing about the Belichicks and about the Joneses. And more importantly, what Bill said was he was talking about Stephen Jones and how he's so great with their personnel department. He's like, Stephen Jones runs this department. He's excellent. I think all that is just kind of, dropping seeds for the Joneses, especially Stephen, who's probably going to ultimately make the decision or have to deal with them moving forward. Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, Dallas does have a history of holding on to coaches for too long with Jason Garrett, but it's a little bit morbid. Jerry Jones is running out of time here. As you said, he's in his 80s now. Yeah. And Dallas, certainly, if they lose this weekend, they'll get rid of Big Mike. But I think Dallas has to make some noise here, at least get to the NFC Championship game after 2 just flat-out embarrassing exits in the playoffs the past couple seasons. So I think they're going to get the band back together, though, because who else is in need of a job? Josh McDaniels. So I think Belichick, wherever he goes, he will bring McDaniels on as the offensive coordinator with him. That'll be interesting to see. A lot of people are saying Atlanta just because it basically came out that Arthur Blank expressed interest in him. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. I think for Belichick, it is all about getting that regular season wins record from Don Shula. So what is the best spot? Atlanta plays in kind of a crappy division. The only team really
Is it wins though, Joe? Is it wins or is it Super Bowl? Because I think it's Super Bowl. I know he wants
maybe both.
To prove that he can do it without Tom, though. I think that's as or more important that's just my take. But
yeah, I think the Chargers is interesting for Belichick because they are probably the one team that needs a coach that has a quarterback in place that people do respect. Now, people say the owner's cheap, but this is a team that's really struggling in the Los Angeles market, and they need to get some type of culture there. And maybe it's weird to say that a 73-year-old Bill Belichick could bring a lot of excitement to a team, but I think, it would get a lot more eyes on the team potentially. So maybe this is the one time the owner would break the bank here. And you got to think Belichick would want maybe a 4 or 5-year contract. Who knows? But it's going to be a blast. Harbaugh as well. I was kind of surprised that the Chicago Bears hung on to their head coach. Interesting offseason to come here. Interesting couple of weeks to come here. Actually, I always find this distracting where you have Ben Johnson, who's the offensive coordinator for the Lions. And he's going to be, if they advance to the next round of the playoffs, he's going to be doing interviews for head coaching jobs next week. I always, it seems like a bit of a conflict, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But,
and if you think, yeah, I agree with you. If you think that doesn't play into it, it absolutely does. A guy like Ben Johnson, who there's probably some jobs that he wants. Obviously, he's coveted, but there's some jobs he wants. You don't think that this is his shot? You don't think he's preparing, taking part of his day, a piece of that pie, and spending some time preparing for his interviews and preparing, who his staff might be and getting that ready for interview? There's no question, and that takes away from game prep. I'm with you.
Yeah, it's a massive distraction. You would think that they would change the rules up for that, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's talk some ball here. The two top seeds are obviously the two favorites to win the Super Bowl, the Ravens and the 49ers. A lot of people are going to pick one or the other to go the whole way. Outside of those teams, who do you think has the best shot at winning the whole damn thing?
Well, the Buffalo Bills, but that's, I don't think that's a shocker. But, I think the Bills they have getting 2 home games. That was such a big game last week. Sort of bring that back to you, Joe. But, that was I think the Buffalo Bills. I just think I go quarterback play. And I'll say it again. I always hear folks talking about the turnovers for Josh. Go back and take a look. You really want to see, the interceptions from Josh and watch the film. There was both interceptions. One of them, I think Gabe Davis decided his own what to do. It was kind of like he was supposed to break out. I think he took it in and Josh threw a pick. I think that was a miscommunication. And then on the other one, they decided to go for it on 4th down. Now, they had nowhere to go with the ball. And if you look, you saw Gabe Davis trip over his own foot, and Josh had to throw the ball because it was 4th down. So essentially it was a punt, and Gabe Davis running towards, he would have had a chance at a 50-50 ball because Josh put it right where he was going, but then Gabe tripped over his own foot and fell down. It was a pick. So not that Josh – I'm making excuses for a guy that has thrown more picks than anyone else in the last 4 years. So he obviously throws interceptions. But the only way the Bills win is if Josh is uber aggressive and takes those shots. They're not that talented. So they have to be that aggressive. But if Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback, if you think that Josh is the second best, no question about it. I mean, I know what Lamar does, but we're talking about Josh Allen. I think because of Josh, I think the Bills have the best shot. That's what I think.
He turned into Superman at the tail end of that Dolphins game in the 4th quarter. I hate to watch it, but I can't deny, not everyone has that ability to just put the team on their back. And he played at his best at the most important part of the game. I got to wonder, though, if those mistakes will catch up to him versus a better team, versus a better defense, right?
Yeah, and let me add this. The Chiefs, I think it's just their defense and the fact that they can lock you down on the back end, the fact that they have 3 solid cover guys, the fact they can get to the quarterback without necessarily having to bring pressure, that's a big deal. The question that we've been asking since the beginning of the season now is, who's going to catch the ball other than Rashee Rice and other than Travis Kelce?
Yeah.
Who do they have and can they depend on those guys? But, come playoff time and big money moments, the fact that they have cover guys and the fact they have Patrick Mahomes puts them right there as well. And so, a concern is like the Dallas Cowboys. They have a great offense, but I'm concerned with their back end. If Gilmore's out, I don't trust Deron Bland. He's a great playmaker, but I don't trust him. Trevon Diggs is down. You don't have cover guys, and you're going to make a run in the playoffs against Matthew Stafford or against the Niners or against they're just Detroit. All these teams can throw the ball, and you don't have cover guys. So there's where I sit. I like Kansas City because of their back end, and their quarterback, and obviously I like Josh.
Yeah, another Mahomes-Allen showdown in the playoffs would be absolutely epic. I, of course, am hoping that my Dolphins can play spoiler here on Saturday night. I don't expect them to. I just hope that they can be a little bit competitive here on that game on Saturday night. Let's get into a couple bets here that you like. What do you have on your radar, on your bet card here for the weekend?
Yeah, so messing with Jingles there is the running back receiving yards over, and that's James Cook. I do like his receptions as well, but I like James Cook over. And here's the reason why. the Bills, since week 10, I believe they've ran the ball more than anybody else, and rush attempts. And I don't think anybody believes that the Bills are a power running team, even though the numbers will say they run the ball and that's what they do. I don't think they're going to have a ton of success in the playoffs running the ball at people. But you want to still keep Josh, protect him a bit, and have some ball control. And that comes in a way of, for me, I think trying to spread out the Pittsburgh Steelers and get the ball, just some light checkdowns, some easy swings, and get James Cook the ball without running the ball. He's not a power back. I don't think he's going to smash it up between the tackles against the Steelers or against, consistently in the playoffs. But I do think you got to get on the ball and just to keep the pressure off of Josh and not have him making so many plays. So I do think Cook is a huge – and you look, I think, what numbers did I have? So Cook's in the last few weeks he's had he hasn't had a lot of receptions. I think he's averaging under 10 yards receiving over the past 3 weeks. I got him under 10 yards receiving. Well, he's gonna have more than that, and I think that's the reason. And you get two coverages from the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're gonna get cover 3 or cover 1, and both of those coverages you can get some touches, especially cover 3. Your back is gonna be featuring versus them swing passes, kind of something you give up. Versus cover 3. So I expect some checkdowns and James Cook to be a big part of that.
Okay. Anything else for bettors to keep their eye on here for Super Wildcard Weekend?
Yeah. You know what is Khalil Shakir?
Okay.
I don't see numbers out here for him right now. I was looking this morning again, and it's not necessarily he was 75, 5 for 75 last week. He's become a pretty big part of that offense. But it's the targets, of course, that make me look at him, but more what they're doing with him. He was as valuable. And if you watch, Josh is looking for him probably more than anybody else last week. And it's what they're doing with him. You got him. He's lining up at number 2. He's lining up at number 3. He's lining up either running reverses with him. They're throwing hitch screen. They're running verticals on 3rd down. They're running picks for him and option routes. So he's really become that guy. And if you look at, shifting coverage and what you need to do, probably Diggs gets some attention. The cornerback play for Pittsburgh is not great. It's not even good, to be honest. And so I think you get Shakir's the guy that's going to get one-on-ones. If you're going to double, Joe, it's going to be who? Kincaid and Diggs. Right?
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's who gets the look. So Shakir's going to get one-on-ones, and they're running a lot for him. I even saw a play last week. I just was looking at this morning where he was lined up as a tight end, and he's not as a tight end. He's obviously not blocking, but he was in there as a tight end. He blocked for about 1.5 seconds just to get in the way of the defensive end, and then he checked out. It was just a way to get on the ball on a check down, just release. So they're finding ways to get him the ball. He's going to get one-on-one. Wait till his number comes out. If they average it out to what he's done the last month, that's going to be an uber smash over.
Okay, yeah, something to keep your eyes on, most definitely. Yeah, we're all over this Bills-Steelers game here this week. 5 separate bets for that game for you guys to keep on your radars and maybe consider tailing here. Okay, Davis, we will leave it at that. Thank you again for joining us. Best of luck with all your bets this weekend. We'll catch you again ahead of the divisional round.
Yeah, playoff time. Let's go.
Yes, sir. All right. Winding right down here. A couple of people in the chat. Mike Shyman. Is that how you say that last name? He liked Rams money line. Listen, the Rams are absolutely red hot going into the playoffs here, especially the offense. This is a team with a ton of experience in the playoffs. They've been to 2 Super Bowls. They're 2 seasons removed from winning one. Everyone appears to be healthy. They match up fantastically. Their pass attack versus the Lions' pass defense. I wouldn't be shocked if they win that game and go on a little bit of a run here. We see underdog teams, wild card teams go on runs all the time in the NFL playoffs. It's about who's the hottest right now, not who was the hottest over the 17-game regular season. Thomas asking, is Knicks -4 a trap line? I don't really believe in trap lines. I don't think odds makers get together and say conspire to trap people, but rat line, maybe. Some people use that expression. That's surprising to see because the game's in Dallas. Is Luka out? Is he questionable? That would be the only reason why I would see them as a -4 favorite in Dallas versus the Mavericks. I don't know if Kyrie would impact the line that much, but I would think that Luka is going to be out. I haven't seen him as announced out yet, but something to keep on your radar. I would, if Luka's playing, I'd like the Mavs there at +4 at home. That's a weirdo one. And Ryan Croaks adding in the Rams are a good play. A lot of people seem to like them. I will have a play on them tomorrow. I will have all my plays for the wild card round here tomorrow, except for the Monday game. We're going to save that for Monday's show. Okay, so that does it for the Thursday edition. Before you bet, if you like the show today, it's easy to let us know. Just hit the like button right down there and make sure you are subscribed to the Covers YouTube channel. Lots of great content here covering everything that there is to cover in the world of sports betting. Best of luck with your bets tonight, and we will catch you guys tomorrow. Woo!